right. Another episode of PLA, so let's hop straight into the questions. The first one I've got for you is topical for the moment. So, as we speak now, we are sitting in a situation where we are eagerly anticipating an approval of a budget speech. So the budget speech has been done, but we are all sitting here waiting to see whether it's approved by the various political parties that have to approve it. And so one thing we wanted to touch on was there was talk about a hospitality tax or a short-term rental tax in terms of this budget. And we just wanted you to extrapolate a bit on did that happen and what the implications for people would be.
A big concern in the property space at the moment, especially amongst Airbnb owners, is the potential of there being some kind of tax and future regulations being imposed on Airbnb owners and that particular industry. Now, this came about, due to some proposals that were spoken about, for example, regarding a central registry where Airbnb owners would have to register their properties. They would be incorporated into the actual tourism industry. And along with this, it would mean that they would have to function as businesses within this tourism industry. Now, the conversation around hospitality taxes and tourism taxes left many questions where now property owners, especially property owners wanting to get into the Airbnb space, don't actually know what to expect. And to be honest with you, I don't think anyone really does. But maybe we can just break down what sort of taxes one would anticipate, what taxes exist at the moment with respect to Airbnb, and which taxes one could anticipate coming into play. Now, aside from the central registry, which is basically a registry of all the owners that exist that are running short-term rentals, not necessarily just through Airbnb, but any sort of short-term rentals that you typically find in the guest house and hotel space. And now we need to ask ourselves the question, what sort of taxes is a guest house paying or a hotel paying? Now, obviously, the most basic taxes, and this as a business you should be paying anyway, is income tax. If you're getting rental from a property, whether it's short-term or long-term, you should be paying income tax on that rental. So that's a given, and we don't have to really go into a discussion around that. It's like having a discussion around capital gains tax for selling an asset. We don't have to discuss that right now. Now, another tax is VAT. Now, a lot of people don't know that if you hit that VAT threshold, that you need to register for VAT and you need to pay VAT on Airbnb income. This is very important. You need to realize Airbnb income or short-term rental income is short-term accommodation. It's commercial accommodation as defined in the VAT Act, meaning that it's seen more as a hotel and a guest house than it is as a long-term accommodation. So any leases that you find that are short-term, you would have to realize that unfortunately now you may need to register for VAT. Commercial accommodation typically includes services, and I think that's one of the defining characteristics, is that there's services that are included. So it's not leasing out an empty room, it's leasing out a room that already comes with a bed, that comes with cleaning, that comes with laundry, and any other services around that space, which Airbnb hosts do offer. So very, very important. VAT is crucial, and obviously now with the potential VAT increase, one may find that the prices would increase. But Airbnb, for example, does have this option in the app. Please also remember, though, that if you do register for VAT, you're entitled to claim input tax, meaning that all the expenses that you expend towards the property, you'd be able to claim input tax, but you'd also have to charge output tax to the guests that are staying there. So now I've got income tax and VAT. Now, those are the main two taxes. Tourism levy is the only real concept at the moment that exists that could equate to being a hospitality tax, but it does not go to the fiscus. So one needs to understand that this is a levy, a 1% levy that is charged to the tourists that stay in certain accommodations or use certain services, but it is private. It does not go to the fiscus. It's used to endorse or market the tourism space in South Africa. Now, yes, this levy is in place, and a lot of people subscribe to this because of the councils that many of these businesses belong to. This does not necessarily mean that Airbnb hosts will be forced to subscribe to these councils. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But at this moment in time, that is the only hospitality tax in essence that exists, and it's called the tourism levy. So moving forward, when we speak about taxing short-term rental accommodation, taxing Airbnb hosts, those are the ones that exist at the moment. And tourism levy at this given moment in time is not being levied to short-term accommodation unless you belong to those particular councils.
Perfect. Thanks, Bruno. And